Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I feel like I'm a little out of practice. I didn't realize that so much time had passed since my last video, and so I'm fine, Gemma's fine, we're doing good. It's just been a little busy for me at work. The Our busy season coincides with tax season, and so I've been working full time. I even got some overtime on this last check, and I've been busy making cash envelopes and products and slowly getting them up on my Etsy shop. And so I have been working just behind the scenes, but I owe you a video, and I owe you a lot of videos, and I am working on catching up on my personal finances this weekend. Today's Saturday, April 2nd, and money is still tight through the month of March and into April as well. So this year financially hasn't gotten off to a great start, but I have, some of it is my fault. I have been overspending, especially on food and kind of business related things. And so I've kind of been in denial. I've had my head in the sand a little bit. And so I've gathered all my receipts, and I'm working on updating my transactions in QuickBooks so that it'll give me the totals for all the categories. And then I'll probably do an update. So I think as I work through things this weekend and kind of get things back in order, I'm going to film videos. So I'm going to try and film a lot this weekend, just for my own sake. And then also, so I've got some content. So I want to go over my April budget. Some of these numbers have changed now, and so I thought it would be good, especially just to go over it, because things are a bit different. So let's just get right into the income side of things. And I did get paid. So just a reminder, I am paid semi-monthly. And so our pay period ends on the 15th of the month and then the last day of the month. And so typically it works out to about sorry, my printer is like doing something. Okay, so typically there are 10 or 11 work days within each pay period. And sometimes there are pay periods that are 12 days. And so that was the case with this last one, that was the 16th through the 31st. So there were 9, 10, 11, 12 days. So my check was higher due to that. But then I also, oh my gosh, my printer. It's like cycling through something. Okay. So this was a larger check due to there being 12 days during the pay period. And then also I got 6 hours of overtime. The next pay period is going to be the 1st through the 15th. And so that is going to be 11 days. And so how I estimate my income, I don't need to estimate my income on the first check because I already got paid, and that was $3,060. That's the biggest check I think I've ever had, which is cool. So the next check, I can take 11 days times 8 hours a day times my hourly rate, and then I net about 78 to 79%. I'll just say 78 to be more conservative. So that comes out to 2,608, and I'm just gonna round down on some of these to be more conservative. So 3,060 plus 2,608. My projected income for the month of April is 5,668. All right, and that's the income piece. It would be a lot easier, just for math's sake, if I was paid bi-weekly and every pay period was a consistent just 2 weeks, but because I'm semi-monthly, it's just a little bit different. Okay, on to the fixed expenses. So I have now renewed my lease, and my rent is $2,200 a month. I have a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom apartment. I live in the Pacific Northwest where rent prices and home prices, sale prices are very high. My pet rent and parking, which one went up? Oh, this should actually be 100 now. So my parking fee went up by $20. And then my internet also went up. This was at 35 and it's up to 58. So that's an increase of, I think, 58 minus 35, $23 increase on that. I think I can maybe try to renegotiate, but I might just be stuck paying that. And then on to other fixed expenses, my car payment, my storage unit, my cell phone, and my software and subscription monthly charges. And when I was looking over my QuickBooks account, there has been no change in these. So these are all the same. Sometimes they'll kind of creep up a little bit. Donations, this was at 50, but it is at 25 now. And then I transfer $85 into my business checking account just to cover some monthly expenses that are consistently come out of that account. I hope to be able to stop kind of personally funding that soon. So that's a goal of mine. So my total fixed expenses, I do this in an Excel template where everything will just auto calculate. So my fixed expenses are $3,000.27. On to my variable expenses. Utilities, I'm still going to just estimate $150 combined for my electric and water, sewer, garbage charge. Gas prices where I am at have been kind of holding at $4.90 a gallon, and that's just for unleaded, just regular old gas. So I have bumped this up just a little bit. Food, groceries, eating out, coffee and tips. This is where I have been struggling so bad. Getting coffee almost every morning on my way to work, plus the tip. Not packing my lunch, not planning my meals, which means then I end up going to like a grocery store, to a deli, or eating out for lunch. And I've just been spending a fortune, and I would really like to actually keep this at or close to $500 this month. Pet food, prescriptions and supplies is at $100. This might actually need to go up because with Gemma's new eye drops that she's on, it's going to be about $60 extra a month. So, and I'm just thinking of that, so I should probably update that. And then spending this, I normally have this at $150, but I'm going to cut this down to $100 just because I have been spending so much. So total variable expenses are $965, and to cover this eye drop prescription, I am going to just take that out of my sinking fund, my vet fund. And so that totals to $965. So then what I do to figure out how much money I have left over to put in my sinking funds is I take my total income, 5,668, minus my fixed expenses, minus my variable expenses. And I have 1,000, well, that doesn't seem right. Oh, it's just because I think my check is maybe higher, 1,702. Is that right? 5,668 minus 3,000 minus 965. Oh, okay. Well, I could have a lot more money to stuff if I wasn't spending so much. Overspending. Now, I left this insurance blank. I have these 4 sinking fund categories I treat as basically, let me pan it a little bit. Okay, that's better. These 4 sinking fund categories I treat as basically a fixed expense because I know it's going to be a consistent price on a regular interval, so it's easy to estimate. And so I like to plan those, and then what's left over, then I can just kind of allocate between my variable funds. And so I left these blank because for sure I'm going to change renewals, and for sure I'm changing insurance. And the reason is I recently renewed my renter's insurance because I prepay annually, and I came up on my lease renewal. And when I got the quote, it was, what was it? It was like, it ended up being $117. And the year before it was, I think, 96. So that's a 22% increase. And the reason for that is because in Washington State, where I live, they recently passed a law, or a whatever. Maybe it's a law, maybe it's not a law. But anyway, the insurance companies can now not factor a person's credit score into their insurance rates. And the insurance companies find that a person's credit score is a good indicator for like the type of risk that they'll be. And so that's why, from the insurance company's perspective, that's why a credit score has such a high impact on rent or insurance rates. And so because that cannot be factored in, people that have had low credit scores and have paid higher rates are now paying lower rates, much lower rates than they're used to. And people who have higher scores and have had lower rates are now paying higher rates. So mine went up by 22%, and my insurance person actually said that was like not bad as far as increases go that he's seen. And so that's for my renter's insurance. And he said that that's probably going to be the case with my auto insurance as well. I prepay that 6 months in advance. And so my next payment is going to be in July. And so what I'd like to do is I'm just going to take that like 20%. And I have been paying the equivalent of $125 a month. And I'm just going to, so if I up that by 20%, that would be $150. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So this is something that I save for in a sinking fund so that when that time comes, I've got the money already saved. And so I'm going to adjust the amount that's in here and factor in a higher insurance rate, just so that if I am hit with higher rates, that it's not such a shock and I won't have to come up with the money just all of a sudden that month. And so that's just how I'm planning for that. Renewals, I have added a couple things. A few months ago, I purchased the Cricut Design Space program for a year. And then I also purchased Canva Pro for a year. So those are two more annual things that I need to add into this calculation. And then I'm also going to split my business and my personal subscriptions. And so I need to kind of just rework this. I don't know what this number is going to be yet, but for insurance, this is going to be $160, I believe. And I can show you the math and how I come up with that. I do use trackers on some of these. So for example, this is what my little insurance tracker did look like. And so I knew how much was coming out and when, and how much I need to add per month and what my target is for each month, just so that it's like consistently spread out throughout the year. So I'm going to update the math on that, and perhaps that can be another video. But that'll be another video. Okay. So this wraps up my April budget, and I am really going to focus on bringing in other sources of income, just because there isn't much more that I can cut out from this. I've decided that I want to live here, and so rent and pet rent is just part of the cost of living here. Same with storage. I really don't like my home to be cluttered, and so I have a little storage unit just so that I can get some stuff out of my living space so that my home is more comfortable. And then cell phone, internet, car payment, a couple subscriptions. I did cancel a few. I canceled Netflix. I canceled a couple Patreon things that I had. So I've tried to cut back on this software thing. I've tried to, I probably could cut back more, But I mean, the alternative, if you don't have enough money aside from cutting expenses, is to increase your income. And so I don't know that I can or want to cut back anymore. And so now I'm just going to focus on the other piece of that equation and focus on the income side and increasing that. So that's where I'm at. That's my April budget. I'm wondering if you guys have gotten off to a good start for 2022. I know for me it's been a struggle. And so, but that's like, this is just an honest picture of where things are at. So thanks for watching. And I will see you guys soon for the next one. Bye.